Alright, good evening folks. This is part 2 of the previous video with this question. Alright, and I believe the last part of the first video was the part when we were multiplying these two expressions. Alright, and then we ended up with 6x squared plus 15x plus 6x plus 15. And we said that these two terms are the only like terms. So what we do, we write about the 6x squared, write about the 15, add 15x plus 6x to give us 21x. So this expression represents the area of the rectangle in terms of x. Alright, so let us move on to part 2 of this problem solving question. Alright, now part 2 says given that the area of the rectangle, alright, part 2 says given that the area of the rectangle AKLM is 60 centimeters squared, show that 2x squared plus 7x minus 15 equal to 0. Alright, now you might be wondering where this comes from. Alright, but before we can get to here, let us go back to part 1. What did we just work out in part 1? We worked out an expression that represents the area of this rectangle. But now they're telling that the actual area of the rectangle is 60 centimeters squared. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to use the expression in part 1 and put it equal to the actual area of the rectangle, which is equal to 60 centimeters squared. And we're going to simplify that and reduce it to this. Alright, so here we have the 6x squared plus 21x plus 15, and that will be equal to 60. So what we're going to do is that we're going to bring over the 60 on the left hand side of the equation, and to do that we're going to subtract 60 from both sides. So we have 6x squared plus 21x plus 15, take away 60, equals 60, take away 60. Now 60 take away 60 is what? Is 0, not true? Alright? And 15 take away 60 is minus 45. So what we have here is 6x squared plus 21x take away 45 equals 0. Alright, now the question says to show that the area is equal to 2x squared plus 7x minus 15 equals 0. Now if you look at this equation and look at this equation, you realize that you can actually multiply this by 3 to get the top one, or you can divide the top one by 3 to get the bottom one. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide everything by 3. Alright, so 3 into 6 will give you 2, 3 into 21 will give you 7, and 3 into negative 45 will give you negative 15. Alright, so that's how we prove that 2x squared plus 7x take away 15 is equal to 0. So that answers part 2 of the question. Alright, now let's go to the final part of this question. Now the final part of this question says hence. Usually hence means from the previous question. Alright, hence calculate the value of x and state the length of AK and AM. Alright, now basically for part 3, what they want us to do is to solve that equation. All right, so we're going to solve this equation. So part 3, we need to solve 2x squared plus 7x minus 15 equals 0. All right, now ladies and gentlemen, do you realize that this is a quadratic equation? Right, because the general format for a quadratic is what? Ax squared plus bx plus c equals what? 0. Now, we're going to use a quadratic formula to solve this equation. All right, mind you, you can use the method of factorization to solve this equation, but we're going to use the formula. All right, so let me write back the formula again. X equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, now clearly from previous videos we realize that a is actually equal to 2, b is equal to 7, and c is equal to negative 15. So quickly substituting this, we have x equals negative 7 plus or minus square root of b squared, b 7, so that's going to be 7 squared, subtract 4, multiply by a, which is 2, multiply by c, which is negative 15, all over 2 multiplied by a, which is 2. All right, now next step, let's do the easiest part. 2 times 2 at the bottom here is give you 4. Right by the minus 7 plus or minus square root. All right, now 7 squared is not 14, but 7 times 7, which is 49. So that will give you 49. Now, notice right here, we have 2 negatives. And when we're multiplying 2 negatives, we will get a what? A positive. So we're going to multiply 4 times 2 times 15, which will give you 120. Continuing, we have negative 7 plus or minus 120 plus 49 gives you 169 all over 4. And we know that the square root of 169 is actually 13 over 4. All right, now at this moment we're gonna split the plus and the minus. All right, let me see if I can make some space here. So we have x equals negative 7 plus 13 over 4. All right, so negative 7 plus 13 will give you 6, and that's going to be 6 over 4, and that goes on to 3 over 2, or 1.5. all right, now let me just break a little bit. Sometimes students, when it comes to, for example, working out something like this, negative 7 plus 13. All right, some students do all kind of crazy stuff, right? What some students would probably do is what? Add those two numbers and worry about the sign, which is incorrect. All right, one approach, there are many approaches to reason on this question. You can use a number line, you can also use reference to say, okay, negative means that you owe, plus means that you have. So I normally say, okay, you owe Mr. Brown $7. You go to the shop with $13. All right, so you pay off your debt, and what left back? Well, obviously you're gonna left back some change, and you're gonna left back with $6. All right. So quick reference here. Suppose you have -7 -3. So you owe Mr. Brown and you owe Mr. Brown. You owe Mr. Brown $10. And sometimes students mix up this part here. So, sir, negative times negative equal positive. No, that is true, you know. That is true. But looking at this question here, we're not multiplying. So can't use rules of multiplication right here. If the question said -7 times -3, all right, then you say, oh, negative and negative give you positive. 7 3 is 21. All right. Okay, so food for thought. So x is equal to 3/2, and x equals -7. Take away 13/4. So you owe and you owe 20/4. That will give you -5. So x is equal to 3/2, and x is equal to -5. But we're going to use only the positive part, because since we're dealing with measurement, we can have a negative measurement. So you won't use a -5. So that's what the question says. Hence calculate the value of x. So x specifically will be equal to 3.2 or 1.5. All right. Now, last part of the question says, state the length of AK and AM. Now, looking at this, we realize that AK on the diagram, AK is represented by the expression 3x plus 3. All right. Now, since x is equal to 3/2, what we're going to do, we're going to substitute the value of x into this expression. So we have 3 multiplied by 3/2 plus 3. That will give you 9/2 plus 3. And 9/2 is actually 4.5. That's plus 3. So that will give you 7.5. So the actual length of AK is 7.5 centimeters. All right. And it says find the value of AM. Now AM is represented by the expression 2x plus 5, and we're going to substitute the value of x, which is what, 3/2, into that. So that will be 2 multiplied by 3/2 plus 5, and right here these two cancel, leaving 3 plus 5. 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. So the answer there is 8 centimeters. So we have a rectangle. All right. So this was actually A and K, M and L. So basically A to K, it was 7.5 centimeters, and A to M was 8 centimeters. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the question. Thank you very much.